Welcome to the Heart of the Equation, where analytical minds explore leadership, professional growth, and the human side of success.
This is the space for business professionals in the STEM field to reflect, grow, and redefine success on their terms.
Together, we'll dive into challenges, transformations, and stories that can help you build an authentic, purpose-driven career.
Let's get this started.
3.
Hi and welcome to a new episode of our podcast, The Heart of the Equation.
Hello, everyone. Today we have a wonderful guest. It's me and Anissa today. And our guest today is Lídia Bonet. She's an HR expert, HR consultant with many years of experience in the field of people management, talent management. And we have a lot of questions about career, hiring, what happens behind the scenes. And we're so excited to have Lídia. Welcome and hello. Tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Thanks a lot, Sarah and Anissa, for this invitation. I really like the heart of the equation, really resonates, and happy to be this time in the interview to person.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. So what do you do, Lídia, these days?
So these days I'm working as an HR consultant. And as you said, I have worked as an HR leader in different roles. My heavy weight, let's say, it's the years that I have been in recruitment from entry level to executive. But I don't know if this is showing how the market it is. Mostly now I'm working into what it's called outplacements. So that is supporting employees affected by reorganizations to find their next career step. So maybe this indicates at this moment with how the labor market is. I also keep some time because I'm an engineer, turn into HR, and I wanted also to continue exploring this more technical part. I'm starting my entrepreneurial adventure through investigating uses of artificial intelligence into team development and also hiring aspects. So this is how I spend my days currently.
Wow, this is so exciting. I mean, we are also, Anissa and I are also engineers doing other things. It's so cool to connect with another engineer because I think we all bring our analytical minds into everything and the geeky nerdiness. So this is really cool what you shared about AI. I think we will come back to that later. But really, I think you're the first HR expert we have on this podcast. And also this topic of reorganization you brought up. This is actually something, especially last year, we heard so much about it. I work with a lot of clients in pharma, for example. And last year, there were a lot of people with expertise, with like years of experience that they lost their jobs and they had to look for new jobs. It's a little different when you have you have experience, you have the education, you have the PhD, you're a scientist, all of that. And then suddenly, when that job is taken away from you, it's also an opportunity for a lot of people to see what's next for me. And this was like, I could see a lot of people were confused, some people were actually excited. But it's really like, what happens when these reorganizations happen, and what is your advice to someone who is going through that?
Well, when a reorganization happens, usually it's not your performance. It's something that it's beyond, let's say, your control. And as you said, everyone reacts in a different manner because it depends also on your private reality, your family situation. There are usually concerns about incomes, about money. But as you said, also, so you go through the stages. First the shock, then worry. Nevertheless, as you said, it's also when you realize it's also an opportunity to stop and think about in which stage of my life this has happened. My career, I was following my career because it was kind of planned, and each step I decided, or I was just on with the flow. And that's a good moment then to stop and think, where am I? And do I want really to continue in this path, or I want to take something else? It's very good to reflect career, but also personal life. In my case, for example, I'm 48. So there was a moment that I stopped in my career to say, what do I really want? Because also in my private life, I am married, but I don't have kids. So then it's also, this gives you also opportunities. But if you never reflect and you put both things together, and these things needs time to reflect, because otherwise you follow what is the standard path, not the standard career path, and you don't even reflect if this is what it match your life situation also. And maybe you are not opening doors that are there and you don't even knew that it exists.
Yeah, such a good point.
It
Yeah.
is for sure an opportunity, but then if you get rid of your fears, of your worries, you can see them. If not, most probably you will go into the reaction modus, no, to look for the next step, which would be very similar to the one that you were doing before.
Such a good point. Exactly. And it's almost like a trap, you know. It's a trap, and some people who are not conscious enough may just repeat the same. It's like the same
You
thing
know
over
what
and
we know, because that's what we know, what they have been told, and it also makes sense. But sometimes that's why when something like that happens, it can be even a blessing because it allows you at least to reflect and then to take conscious decisions. And you may continue, but consciously.
yeah.
And it makes a difference. Because instead of being kind of victim or being no, you go with the flow, you steer. Even if it's the same path, it's very different if you are on the on the wheel
Yeah.
or you are behind.
Yeah.
That's so let's say true, right? Just thinking of those people who have been affected by reorganization or the others, right? Maybe they have just started and those are working. Um, what is your, let's say, definition of success? And
Hmm.
how also each person can think of term of, okay, what is success for me? How they can start to structure their success to be, let's say, where they are, right?
Yes, that,
Exactly where they are and where they want to get, be successful.
exactly. And maybe they see this as not this moment in their careers as not a successful turn point, and maybe it's just the beginning of the success. So uh, so if we talk about success, for some people it would be the job title, the status, the impact that you are getting in the world, no, or recognition, or money, no. But success means something different to each of us, and that's okay. So at the end of the day, what I would say success is this alignment, no, alignment with what. So you know what you want, what do I value, what type of work matches with who I am, and then this alignment is the success. There is a quote that I really like. I don't know who said it. It says something that if you can see the end of your path, that means it's not your path.
Wow.
So if you can clearly see where the path leads, that it's probably means someone else has already walked it, and so you're following someone else's steps, and these steps worked for this specific person, but that doesn't guarantee that this will work for you, because you're not them. You have your own strengths, your own personality, your own way of seeing the world, no. So if the definition of success is personal, the path to success would be also made for you. But what happened, we don't see, we do a step, we don't see, we don't like that. And especially the more technical people we are, and that
Analyze more.
in this case, you don't do a bridge not knowing which. No, you do a bridge, you do a plane knowing exactly all the steps. And then these things put us completely out of our comfort zone. We like to know what is going to happen. In more creative, maybe professions, maybe they are more. I talk to journalists and people more creative. They feel completely confident not knowing. They do a step. Oh, no, I don't know where it will lead, but I feel I want to do it. We don't like that, but life is like this.
It was
It's
quite
like starting
interesting. Sorry.
apologies. I was just saying it's like starting a new painting, right?
Mm.
I have kind of idea, but I have no idea how the final will be. I just start, right? So it's
Mhm.
very interesting what you said. Yes, Sarah, please, you were saying.
Sorry, yeah. It's like what you shared. It's also it shows leadership because most of the time, especially us coming from the engineered, very like structured backgrounds, we want to have everything in control by planning, by creating structures, but knowing, yeah, this is where I want to go. And you just said like if you exactly know how it looks like, then it's probably not the right thing.
And we cannot control life.
Yes.
And we think we can. And also in the Industrial Revolution, we got this sense, no, that and then it's what the engineering careers and then all these started, no, because it was a way to create processes to predict outcomes, no, and this made us feel that life we could do the same. And how many times you plan things in life
And it doesn't work. Yeah.
life happens, and that's what I was saying. Sometimes this type of breaks, it's perfect to analyze if something has happened, no, that changed the initial specifications. There is
Yeah.
also story, and what I feel sometimes is that also in order to avoid accountability and responsibility, we want to follow a path. No, hey, I
Yeah.
follow this path, I'm going to get this, and then it's also not anymore my responsibility, no?
Yeah.
Hey, I was following instructions, no? Whereas when you are the one choosing, then you are the accountable. There is a story, again, I don't know if it's true or not, about Mozart, that there was a young student who asked him, Maestro, how do I write a symphony? No? And then Mozart said, that's a very complex form. No, I would suggest that you first master several instruments, piano, violin, then you start writing a few keyboard sonatas, no, and then a quartet or two, and then maybe you can step into writing a symphony. No? And the student said, but Maestro, wait a second, you did not have time to do all these things because you were already writing symphonies at 7 years old. And Mozart replies, yes, I was, but I never asked anyone how to write a symphony. so,
Wow.
so it's true. So he was a badass in this regard. But at the end, what he's telling you is this, that the message is don't wait for the instructions. No,
Yeah.
and just do it. Do whatever you feel you have to do.
Yeah. And it's also leadership is also working with a lot of uncertainty. I think if someone, especially a lot of people I have worked with are kind of the mid-senior level. So they have some leadership experience. They are not the C level, but now that they got the opportunity to look for a job, they really want to have like some kind of enabling function. They want to be in the position to actually lead some people. And if you want to have that mindset of, I'm here to control everything and I know exactly where it goes, and you're not willing to keep an open mind about all these things you don't know, it's going to be very hard to be a leader.
Yes, 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 and I understand because I'm also like this a little bit. I want to know what
Yeah, I'm like that too. I want to know everything. I want to plan everything. I want to have systems, but
yes.
I
So
always see like I have to stop myself, like, no, 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 stop it. You can't.
everything I'm sharing is my own experience, no, my own suffering, also the frustrations, and again, when you said these leaders looking for the next job opportunity, or everyone looking for a next job opportunity, sometimes they find a consultant, no, like, help me, tell me the steps, no.
Yeah.
Yes, I can tell you steps how you can apply online, how this, but reality tells you that the right job opportunity for you can come from anywhere. I can tell you, okay, typical job applications you apply through a CV, how to make a CV, or we have LinkedIn, or we have the networks. But at the end, is just, but people then feel frustrated because it's too many things. I want to focus to do something to ensure my success. Depending first what is success, and then, yeah, the path, it would be different for you than for me. So no one can really tell you. They can give you tips.
That's not a formula, right? As you said, that's not a fixed formula. That's you say, okay, I'm gonna follow that, and that's the formula. There's no recipe, right?
Yes.
It really depends on one to other. Lydia, you have been working for top companies around the world and recruiting for all levels, beginners to top
Yes.
executive. What are really the, let's say, softer skills that
Hmm.
can bring one to the next step, that can
Yeah.
contribute to that things that we call it success,
Yes.
how they can change over the time?
Yes, what they call the skills to success. No, but what I like to say is that, so if we focus, for example, now in big corporations, because it also depends, let's focus in big corporations. And I would say I like to distinguish in two blocks or stages. No, the first one is the entry level, or the early career stages that you call it, and then when you start facing leadership roles, or you aim for these executive roles. No, the first one, the early stage in career, especially for technical careers, the technical knowledge, so if you need to
Mhm.
program, you need to program, and there are certain technical things that you need to have, and that's the first thing they are going to check. We are going to check. Then communication skills, presentation skills, because nowadays most of the jobs you need to collaborate, you need to talk to others, you need to do your job and then explain to others how this. And then what we said, more the motivation, no, this passion, the work ethics. And honestly, this, what they say, work hard, no, and it works. There are some sentences of these Elon Musk, for example, no, he says, you should never give up unless you're forced to give up, no, or I don't especially like the person or the quotes, but this is what people hear, no, work like hell. He has another one, work like hell. I work 80 to 100 hours per week, every week, no, and you hear these things. And Bill Gates says, I never took a day off in my 20s. And
Scary.
Bezos also said, work hard, have fun, and make history, no? And these are not universal truth, but at early stages of your careers, I would say it pays off. Okay, so it's more delivering. But then when we go to the more leadership roles, the executive roles, watch out, because it's not what you do, how much you do, the performance, but who you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so how you inspire, how you connect, your presence, but not in the sense of how beautiful you are, but this energy when you enter into a room, that you own it. And the emotional intelligence. There is a book from Goldsmith, I think it's called, that it says, what got you here won't get you there. And the title says that the same skills that help you to reach, to be considered for a leadership role, not necessarily are the ones. Okay, thank you for your service, but now we require from you something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That is actually quite a good point. It's also something I notice a lot of people who come from technical engineering, life science background. They went to university, they got trained in their own fields. Maybe this sort of softer skills is not something some people, everybody naturally has. I think it's something you get with training, but a lot of people are good at doing what, like delivering, but they
Yeah.
have not really developed this kind of skills, and sometimes it becomes a little challenging. Sometimes you don't get a chance to even show it. I also see with some corporations, the person does not even get the chance to show they have leadership skills. They're so bombarded with a lot of work and sort of technical tasks, so this becomes a real problem, like not being able to kind of show, and also not knowing like what are the softer skills and what is my unique way of doing things. How can I sort of show that I can actually do these things?
And Sarah, let me tell you something. It may sound hard, but even sometimes, the better you are delivering, they will never give you the chance because they want you there. They
Exactly.
need you there.
Yeah.
No? These people do. And if you do not start being a pain, like asking, no, I want more, no, because if you feel I want more, and you start pushing and give me this opportunity, start being a little bit of pain to say, okay, yes, I'm delivering, but I want that. They will not do it spontaneously, because
Yeah.
it does not mean that they are not happy with you. On the contrary, they are super, super, and they don't have not found maybe anyone who is as good as you. So please stay here.
This is a
And
good point.
exactly.
Yeah, as for everyone who's listening, being the perfect employee who does everything is not the path. If you want to become a leader, you can't just sort of say, "Oh, I'm doing a good job. They're gonna hand it over to me." I think we also had this discussion with our other partner Pragati in other podcasts that it's a conscious decision. As you need to develop some skills, you need to change the ways. As you just shared, Lydia, there is a what got you here won't get you there.
But let's be, so what I'm not saying is like everyone needs to step into this leadership role, because
Yeah,
it's not, sometimes what we want is recognition.
yeah.
And companies sometimes fail in recognition. And you're
Mm,
super happy delivering, but you feel like you are left, that no one is taking care of you, that you are just in the corner. They just want to see your deliveries and that's it. Maybe you are happy there and you feel you don't want to become the next general manager. But since you don't feel recognized, and you will also maybe show that you are having a career, you feel you need to go to the next step, and the next step usually is the pyramid, not the people leadership. But if companies had also, so first is the reflection. It's like, what do I want? Do I really want to go into a leadership role, or what I am missing is recognition?
mm,
Happens a lot. I had a lot of conversations with these super good delivery guys. And they, no, I want to go to leadership role. They don't see them maybe, or they don't want them to be. But when you talk to them, they also don't want it, but they
mm,
want recognition. And then is when you can create, well, you talk to the person, because every person feels motivated by different parts, but to become an expert lead, you will be the tech lead. And then they perceive that they are evolving, but they continue doing what they like, but also they can feel they are still growing. But these conversations, excuse me, but we also lack very, we talk about the leadership skills that brings you there, but a lot of people out there, they don't have them. Okay, but it's the reality. So first, you as an individual to see, okay, I feel I want to develop, no? Okay, but what is for you develop? Is this type of recognition? Do you really want to lead people? Do you understand that it's a different type of job and maybe require different skills? No? So, because before we were talking about these skills for the juniors, no? But then, as I said, it goes more into other skills.
Now you're making me to think of something. That was a very good let's say point to address, right? So let's say one person has this reflection and say, okay, I've done my technical years, I'm conscious and I want to jump to the leadership role.
Yes.
How can I do that? What are the qualities that I can develop? And how can when I get there, how can I lead with impact? Because as you said, there is something to get there, and then we need other qualities to lead. So
Yes.
how do you describe that?
Yes. I can explain to you, for example, when we were doing an executive recruitment or a leadership, a really high leadership role. No, what we were checking, because this is usually we organize what it's called assessment centers. It's not just an interview, but it can have role plays, business cases, presentations. You ask the person, imagine that you're here and prepare a presentation and so on. Because what we were checking is not what they have done and all the deliveries. You are there because you delivered all these things. But now we are checking if for each company may be different, but overall, usually companies check: are you inspirational, authentic? Are you a visionary leader? Resilience. So maybe we make you a little bit tough situations during the assessment center, and if you show vulnerability. And because what the theory says is that when leaders display these behaviors, it's when you get the true impact. And that's what people makes you follow. Then people want to follow you if you display this. And usually you have these, usually in assessment, you can have up to 5 candidates, all high performers, all they have been incredible, high potentials, and they deliver a lot. But there can only be one at the end. And at the end, you need to reject for top talent because only one gets it. And imagine how frustrated, because some of the people that really work for a lot of years, maybe they sacrifice even hours and hours of their personal life for the good of the company, super engaged, super passionate. You said, yeah, another candidate display, no? But what I did wrong, no? Oh, here you did not seem resilient enough, what? Or inspirational enough, or authentic, and they want to kill you, and somehow it's true, no? Because it's like, what is that? But then it's like, I can put an example why this is so important to have these skills, because it sounds blah blah, but I can put examples, for example, for medical doctors. No, you have usually medical people who are in healthcare. They have since childhood, they have this passion, their dream to become a doctor. They are driven by passion to help people, not to save lives. And then they study hard, usually to get into medicine is very hard. And there is like the super challenging, a lot of years. And then they become like a renowned cardiologist or a renowned surgeon and committed to their patients. And then they lead the team because they are so good that and then the whole department, and then maybe they go into hospital management, no? And now imagine that you are in a public hospital, no? That it's regional public hospital, and you find that your days are full with meetings to talk about budgets, public fundings, political decisions. That this has nothing to do with medicine, no? But you are there because you have this vision. But and the funny thing, this passion that you have for your patients and what you were praised on before because of this passion, it shoots back, because then they tell you, oh, you're being too emotional, because every time that you see initiatives not blocked, but for long discussions, no, you said that's not productive and my patients are dying. Then all this passion is like, oh, you're being too emotional, and this happened to men and to women, I cannot tell, So the same reaction maybe of a doctor, depending if it's a woman or a man, it's perceived in different ways. But the emotional toll is enormous, and burnout. So doctors are one of the professions where you get more burnouts, and it's one of the reasons is especially these things, no, how you separate this passion. But nevertheless, if you want things done, you cannot go and start screaming in a meeting with politicians or with managers. You will not get what you are looking for, which at the end you look this impact. You need to convince them. You need to manage. You need to be strategic and to think, okay, I have lost this battle. How can I tackle it? But if all these things eat you internally, you end up with no energy to continue fighting. So at the end, you need good doctors in life, but you also need this type of guys who also can handle this type of battles. And you also need to understand that you need these skills to be able, and not because you are the best cardiologist, you will get the fundings for your department, no? Because the battles are completely different. So when they say that, and that's human beings, and this happens in big corporations, this happens in hospitals, this happens in politics, maybe we don't like it. I would love that the main surgeon is the one who can go up there and inspire. But these are two different types of skills, and maybe we don't find this in the same person, and maybe the same person does not want to do these two things.
Yeah,
Sorry
yeah,
for
Good point.
a long introduction.
yeah.
But it's not just because it's bullshit, blah, blah, corporate jargon, but there is a reality behind that needs to be faced.
Yeah, exactly. And I also think a lot of people see leadership as like, like the kings, a nice thing to be rewarded at some stage of your career. But I think a lot of people, if they know what true leadership takes, that actually you have to forget about your ego and all of these nice things you want to do a good job, and you have to care about others more than you care about yourself. I think a lot of people, if they know what it takes, they wouldn't be even interested in these jobs.
I tell you, because I have these conversations, and the conversation starts, I want to have a career, I want
Yeah.
to rest, but when you start talking, it's like, but do you really want the role? No, most of the times they want recognition.
Yeah.
They want to continue feeling that they grow, and you can grow in so many areas depending on what you like. No, so if you like really the technical stuff, so maybe you can recognize it by being the technical lead, maybe paying a course, that you love. giving you whatever it makes you feel. But if companies, they do not show different type of recognitions and different types of career, especially for technical people, it was maybe 10 years ago that we start hearing about the technical career path. A lot of technical people, they don't want to lead people.
Yeah.
How many heads of departments are super good technically, but they are disaster people?
And I think there is no even that reflection that you said, right? Because there are no alternatives, right? That you can grow as a technical person, you just be recognized. I know some people, they don't want to have anything with others. They're just like, one person delivery, but they're frustrated at the same time. They say, yes, I want to be the lead of the team, but from the other side, you see that they don't want.
Yeah.
And as not the alternatives are sometimes not offered, or even the reflection about, then they get frustrated. So what you're saying is very, very precious, Lydia, to
Yeah.
have that reflection.
A good
And even if you
manager.
don't have a talent management, be yourself to go and ask for it, right?
Exactly, because we don't know. We are like sometimes like babies, no, and we don't know what we say. And when I am a manager and I have the best software architect telling me I want to be the next head of the department, and sometimes maybe you don't see that you see him very good at something, and maybe he does not have the skills or she does not have the skills also to have, but what do you mean? So go inside, like the coaching questions, no, and you make the person reflect, and the other person, if he or she doesn't really want that, they will tell you, but they are also telling you, I need something because that's not enough where I am. That's why they want to change. Okay, so how can you feel like that? I remember one conversation that the guy felt like that, wanted progress, and he was a super open source enthusiast, no, and yeah, he did not have a lot of communication skills. But then it was like, but these guys how engaged are in communities, no? And they said, okay, and if we sponsor some of the meetups that you have with these communities, and if we help you maybe to present there, that you are not just there listening what other experts says, but present something. And our marketing department will help you to present the slides, to talk, you can practice, no? And we put this as your development into your communication skills. And of course, this guy got a name in his community because first, not only was bringing money from his company, but also was starting being more active. So how easy is that? And also for him, this was growth into his area of expertise, what he liked to do, what in there, even outside work, the communities where he was used to. Let's be creative also in our people management.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah, that is this so interesting. Also, if I take away one thing from our conversation, I'm just conscious of time. Really reflect. Do you want leadership or do you want recognition? And don't try to just do these things, which looks nice on other people's resumes, but is not going to make you happy. And this is like really key. Thank you, Lydia, for sharing that. We could talk to you forever, but I know you also need to go. Just as the last thing, firstly, so we want to make sure we share about your link so people can find you and connect with you because we didn't get the chance to ask a lot of questions in this little time. I'm sure a lot of people really need to actually talk to you. So we will share your LinkedIn, also about your company, your consultancy services in the show notes. But is there any advice you have for anyone who's at this stage we just talked about?
Yes, I only want. Let me think, because there is something that when I tell you that when you do the assessment centers and then you need to reject for super talent, no, and it's very frustrating for this authenticity or this type of what we talk, no, being visionary, inspirational, authentical, resilient. How you do that? Because you cannot send this person into a technical into a class and now we are going to learn to do these things, no? And well, I thought, but this is something that it's Lydia's homemade, okay? So I thought, how you do these things? And I'm super fan of the design thinking and the human centricity. And I said, if you
Oh, love that.
with me, no? So as an individual, and then you realize, and we know that as a human beings, we are not only brains, we have the mind, the logic, no, the part of the mind, the part of the body, no, our movement, our energy, and the soul and the heart, no, or spirit, or purpose, values, whatever you want to call it, no. So mind, body, heart, if we are in the heart of the equation. So most people, especially if you're high performer, career driven, you focus on the mind. We are very, very analytical and so on. But you ignore the other two. And then what I would recommend is to work on these others. So the other two is what you leave for the weekends or for when you have free time. Only if you have free time, thinking that this is not helping my career, but this indeed helps your career. Or for example, when you have parents maybe with limited resources, no, and they want the best for the kids, they want to decrease progress. Usually we invest in your language courses or into this programming or into this, and you want the guy to study at home and, well, can I do dancing classes? Oh my God, no, or painting. No, you need to focus. And what you're not realizing is that in fact, the skills that you get when you take care of your body, or when you do more, how you take care of your soul, no, or your heart, most of the times it's not just through meditation or more of these things, it's through creative expression. You can, so this express, to know yourself and then take it out, no, through, I think Anissa, you paint, no, or singing, or dancing, or writing a book. And these skills that you get when you connect with yourself and you explore who you are, that this helps you to take decisions and not just follow a path. But then you express it in the way, and then you show that the step is also to show it outside, to open to the world. How much vulnerable, no, what we are looking. Are you used to be real vulnerable, showing really things that come from inside, and then exposing? Because this can happen to the outside critics. Maybe some people will love it, maybe some people will hate it, but you are getting a lot of resilience there, because imagine, and you are also showing authenticity, because that's who I am. So all these things that you think is just my hobby, my free time, they are developing the skills that then are the ones that you need at these places. When they hit you once, it's like, okay, I remember the reviews of my first exhibition. That's nothing, no? Or I know, okay, so all these type of things. And also to realize, don't just block, because on the contrary, by doing these things, not only you are making a whole of a human being, because you are these three things, and if you ignore one of these three pillars, sooner or later this will come up. But not only that, this is also helping your career. So that's because at the beginning it looked like very frustrating, but at the end it's relieving, it's liberating this.
Yeah.
That you can work on yourself, and not only that, this is even helping you in whatever the career you want to choose. So for me, this was the great aha moment that I had on myself. And to be honest, I started also late in my career being this. Now I'm doing my singing lessons.
Oh.
So, and I found it hard. No, it's not easy. So the earliest you start, even when you are a kid, the better. No, and for parents to realize, let the kid play, let the kid explore, let the kid dance. No, so
Just love it, Lydia.
Yes, that's
Love.
so
I just
wonderful.
see Sarah as well. Just a smile. I just love it. And that is the reason that we have a start at the heart of the equation.
Yeah.
Because it's all about just coming back,
yes.
Yeah.
going back to our inner self, to our heart, to have access to all the resources that really the world needs to bring them out.
Yes. And
Thank you, Lydia.
being human is all of that. And no, and it also affects our energy, you know. People also don't want to talk to a person who's all about 2 + 2 is 4 and that's it. They want to also see our relaxed energy. It's also calming others. And yeah, so everyone go have do something fun this weekend. This is the advice.
And what we
Something
were
creative.
saying is, which are the skills for the career and so on, that you can also see it differently, no? Because the other thing is chasing. But it's like, who am I? What I like to do, and what I am attracting. So instead of chasing, it's like, because I sorry, I talk a lot, but it's like when you look for a partner, no? What they tell you is be yourself, and you will attract the right person. When you see the typical friend who is behind, like, no, you be yourself, and you will attract. With careers, why we do it differently? Let's be yourself, and let's attract the career and the people who will work with us. that really resonates with us. A lot of careers fail, or they don't go in the right path because you have people joining organizations and there is at the end no match in the core. So let's attract the career that we want, and for that we need to explore ourselves. And yeah, I'm on that. So it's also, and to be honest, I have to say these are the happiest years of my life.
Oh,
I just love it.
that's
Thank
beautiful.
you
Yeah.
for this inspirational conversation, Lydia.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, it's really cool that you shared it. And we can say, oh, we had a HR expert on our podcast and she told us to go have some fun hobby. That was her advice.
But it's true. But it sounds a little bit hippie, and then you may hear that. And if you don't understand that, maybe this is what happened to me. You understand, you hear these things. I said, maybe you, because maybe you come from a rich family, no? You don't struggle, because you are in this fighting modus, no? But really, if you understand really that there is a reason behind, and that this reason is even going to make you not just more relaxed, but more successful, maybe we start considering it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Lydia. Oh, I find it hard to say goodbye to you for the podcast, but I'm sure we will continue this conversation because there is so much we want to learn from you. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us and thank you for listening. So it's goodbye from my side to our audience.
Thank you so much, Lydia. I'm sure we're going to invite you again because we have loads of questions next time. And thank you also to our listeners that they have been with us until now.
Thank you.
Thank
Goodbye,
you.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to The Heart of the Equation. If this episode has sparked something for you, we'd love to hear about it.
Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with us on LinkedIn and Instagram to continue the conversation.
And if you know someone who is navigating their next career step, share this episode with them. It could be exactly what they need.
We see you next time as we explore more about leading with purpose, resilience, and authenticity.
Let's keep growing together.